Welcome to Ontario East Matters. I'm Jay Amer, and today in studio I'm pleased to welcome Chris King. Chris is the CEO of the Quinte Economic Development Commission, representing the Bay of Quinte. Welcome to the studio.
Glad to be here.
Chris, Bay of Quinte, Quinte Economic Development Commission, tell us a bit about the communities you represent to help promote investment to the region.
Yeah, so Quinte Economic Development, we're a regional economic development office, and we cover three communities: the city of Belleville, the city of Quinte West, and the municipality of Brighton. And those three communities are all located side by side on Highway 401. And they figured out a long time ago that there's an advantage to working cooperatively on economic development. And our role is really on the industrial side of economic development. So think about food processing, manufacturing, logistics, the tech sector, both in terms of recruitment, new industry, but also retention and growth and support of existing businesses that we have.
Now, you mentioned 401. It's the busiest highway in North America. And by busy, it doesn't mean it's always blocked up. It just means you have access. But you're also on Lake Ontario. So how has that contributed to the advantages that you might have to offer? It probably historically played a role for Belleville and the Bay of Quinte.
Yeah, absolutely. And our geography has really, it's played a role in the development of the community, and it's certainly a key aspect in terms of why we're continuing to grow. So being on the north shore of Lake Ontario, the Bay of Quinte is a bay of Lake Ontario, it's a real strategic advantage. So originally, those waterways were heavily used for shipping and transportation. Now it's the 401 is the main transportation link, but we also have CN Rail runs right through our community, and CPKC runs right through our community as well from rail service. And we have an interesting asset just south of us in Prince Edward County with Picton Terminals, the Port of Picton, which offers shipping service. That's another growing advantage that we have in the community.
Chris, another mode of transportation obviously is aircraft. Now, you may not have an airport right in your community. You're close by other airports, but you are home to the largest Air Force base in Canada. Tell us about the Trenton Air Force Base.
Yeah, so we're home to 8-wing CFB Trenton, which is Canada's largest Air Force base. It's a transport base. They do training there as well and search and rescue. So they have some amazing aircraft that fly out of there on a regular basis, and over 4,000 people work there. And it's a true asset. So yeah, there's a major runway there. Aircraft control, of course, and customs on site. And so even though we don't have regular rail air service there, we do have companies with corporate jets and others that on certain occasions can bring their aircraft right into the base. And that's a big advantage for a lot of those companies.
And in Canada and in Ontario, we're seeing a real push for the defense industry. What role do you see, or what benefits do you see happening in your region because of this sort of made in Canada focus to being self-sufficient in the defense industry?
Yeah, we see some huge opportunities. So when we think about our manufacturing base, we see opportunities in terms of making stronger supply chain links into the growth in defense. So right now, we're in 2025, we're going to be 2% of our GDP is going to be spent on defense. We're going to grow to 5% in 10 years. So there's going to be huge opportunities for our companies to be part of that defense supply chain. And we already have companies that are making parts that go into aerospace and defense already, but we see more opportunities. So both in terms of trying to recruit new defense businesses to come to our region, but also let's tap into that supply chain and win some of those contracts. And of course, as CFB Trenton continues to grow and they invest in new aircraft and new infrastructure, that's creating opportunities on the construction side and service side and the supply side as well. So it's CFB Trenton is our largest single employer in the region, and we're so thrilled to have them.
And with the defense industry, you're also, I know, food processing, food and beverages. Tell us a little bit about the background in that sector and how important it is to your region.
Yeah, food processing sector is our largest industrial cluster within manufacturing, and we're home to a number of companies that people would recognize, like WK Kellogg's. We have a Quaker Oats plant. I know you have one up here in Peterborough. We have one that makes muffins and other products in Trenton. We have Red Pass Sugar, just a whole range of great companies and a lot of really strong small and medium-sized manufacturers as well, including, I know one of your favorites, Hawkins Cheesies, is made right here in the Bay of Quinte region as well. So food processing does really well. And because we have such a cluster of food industry, a lot of the supply chain and support services that are needed to keep that industry going are there. So think about refrigerated and frozen space. We're home to Trenton Cold Storage, which is a large third-party frozen logistics and temperature-controlled warehousing company. We're refrigerated trucking companies. We have stainless steel equipment manufacturers and all those other things that are needed to keep that food industry going. We're home to it, including some fantastic programs at our local college, Loyalist College, which has food processing manufacturing programs. So that whole ecosystem to support the food industry is there. And as you talked about our strategic location, with those assets around rail and trucking and shipping opportunities, close to those major Canadian markets and U.S. markets, of course, make it this the ideal location for the food industry.
Chris, I was going to ask you about, if you've got all these diverse industries, you need people to work in them, and one of the assets is Loyalist College, part of the Ontario college system. How do you work, and if a new company wanted to come into the area, how would you work with the local education institutes and connect them with the resources they might need?
Yeah, we're big believers that workforce development is economic development. They go hand in hand. And our offices at the Quinte Economic Development Commission are actually located at Loyalist College. So we're embedded right in the college with some other economic and business development partners, but we work very closely with them on a number of issues. So when companies come in, we have Loyalist College as part of our team to help promote the area and also to talk about how they can help them, not only in terms of, accessing graduates, but doing corporate training, company-specific training to onboard people. And then they have the whole research side of what they do with some amazing research capabilities with their Technology Access Center there. So yeah, Loyalist College is a big part of what we do to support the food processing and other sectors. And we partner with them on a program called Elevate Plus. And it's been a real successful program for over 10 years now, where we are able to train people with barriers to employment. And we put them through a 4-week training program that we contract Loyalist College to develop and deliver for us, to get them job ready for entry-level jobs in the manufacturing sector. And it's really great. The people that come through that program, their confidence goes way up, and they have the skills and knowledge and background now to work in the food processing sector. So that's a big part of what we do. It's part of our collaboration with Loyalist College. And then we also have some funding to support the incumbent or the existing workforce in the food processing sector. So when companies are looking to invest in their existing workers, we have a program to support them with that. And Loyalist College is also a training delivery agent for a lot of that. They do some micro-credentials, leadership in manufacturing, electrical troubleshooting, and other relevant manufacturing programs to deliver on a regular basis. And those are fast-track, short-term, company-specific training that really pay off for us.
One of the challenges with companies in North America and around the world has been workforce. And what kind of workforce is available? If a new company came in, they're competing with existing companies. What is the status of the current workforce? You've talked about some of the potential ways you can support it and bring new people in. What can someone expect if they were to bring a company in, and what kind of skills and talent can they find in Quinte?
Yeah, there's a lot of people with background, skills, and knowledge of working in the food processing sector. So there's, again, we have access to those graduates of Loyalist College, but there's a number of universities and other colleges within an hour of where we are. So we have access to a lot of talent, people with a background and experience working in the food sector. They know about food safety and sanitation and allergen prevention, all those key aspects, but working in a food plant. They know about, good manufacturing practices. And so there's a very strong workforce. When companies come in and they're hiring full-time permanent jobs, they're able to find the people they need. And there's a real strong workforce there. And we have all those partners that we talked about to help them get job ready at Loyalist College. And earlier you asked about 8-Wing CFP Trenton. And a lot of the spouses and kids of the military members are also great workers as well to work in the region.
Because you have new people coming in as people get transferred around, yep. And we see that with physician recruitment and spouses needing employment. So that's part of the role you would play, is to help make those connections.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
What's a typical day for your office? And tell us a bit about the Quinte Economic Development Commission. How many people work with you, and what's a typical day look like?
Yeah. So Quinte Economic Development Commission, there's 4 of us. So we're kind of lean and mean in terms of our size, but we could be effective because of our partnership. So we're co-located with our Community Futures Development Corporation, the Business Development Bank of Canada, the National Research Council, and their Industrial Research Assistance Program has a person there. As I mentioned, the corporate training division of the college, the small business center. So there's a lot of us all working together, all kind of rowing in the same direction that really enhance our team. But Jay, when you think about economic development, there's many aspects to it. It could be tourism, agriculture, downtown revitalization, festivals and events, a lot of other, important things. But our office is laser focused on the industrial side. Our mandate for those municipalities that we serve, Belleville, Quinte West, and Brighton, is to focus on the industrial development. So I think that makes us, we don't get pulled off to do other things. We're focused just on the industrial side. So our day is really a balance between, managing our sales funnel with leads that we have coming in and managing those opportunities, trying to connect them to real estate and other things that they need, but also talking to our existing businesses and helping them through barriers, challenges, or capitalizing on opportunities that they see and helping guide them through that. So it's every day is different. Every day is a challenge. You never know what's going to happen when you come into work and the phone rings or the emails come in about what those challenges are, but also what those opportunities are. And the best part of my day, Jay, is when I get to go and see a manufacturer, go behind the wall, see what they do, see the cool products they make, the cool technology they have access to. And it's just amazing.
And you always bring some Hawkins cheesies out of there and give them to me whenever you visit that plant, I know. So
yeah. And I was driving up here today and I thought, geez, I didn't bring any cheesies for Jay. So
that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
They are delicious though, but you can't eat too many of them. Chris, we're just a few minutes left, but we've got big challenges. Our largest trading partner, the U.S., has changed the way they're doing business globally. Our provincial government, federal government have put some programming in to help organizations like yours to help bring in investment from other parts of the world. So what have you done to shift and climatize to this new reality?
Yeah, and it certainly impacts our region. There was a study done earlier this year by the Canadian Chambers of Commerce that ranked communities and their exposure to the U.S. marketplace. And we were number 11 in Canada in terms of our exposure to the U.S. because we have so many products that go across that border to the United States every day. So there's a number of things that we're doing. One is looking at trade diversification strategies. So both in terms of other geographies, other countries we could be shipping to, and manufacturers are pretty resilient on their own. They see opportunities that can make changes. But also we see diversification in terms of sectors that they're supplying to. So we talked about defense. I think there's going to be a huge opportunity in the defense sector for a lot of our manufacturers to capitalize on that. I think the energy sector, oil and gas and nuclear, is going to create some opportunities as well for a lot of our manufacturers. So we're helping them through that. We also, again, we support them on the workforce development side. So again, we got to be competitive. Canadian manufacturers have to be competitive, which means supporting their workforce and investing in talent, but also in terms of technology and automation and supporting companies with put in robots and sensors and advanced systems and looking at AI as well. So yeah, I see there's a number of things we're working on. And again, we don't do this in isolation. We do it with our partners. And we were part of the Ontario East strategy where they looked at the trade diversification requirements in Eastern Ontario. And there's a number of great recommendations in there that we're trying to align ourselves with. And so we're going in the same direction as the Ontario East Economic Development on that.
Chris, that's great. We have 1 minute left, and I was going to bring it around to the Ontario East Economic Development Commission. You're a past board member. You're head of the Regional Marketing Committee. Just in 30 seconds, what value do you see being part of the Ontario East Economic Development Commission?
Yeah, it's a huge benefit for us. It allows us to do a whole lot more for a lot less money by cooperating and partnering with our neighbors in Eastern Ontario. So it reduces our costs, but more importantly, it makes us more effective. We could do a whole lot more, go to more events, interact with more clients, and again, fill up that sales funnel with opportunities because of Eastern Ontario. We've benefited. There's companies that we've landed in our region because of our relationships with Eastern Ontario and our colleagues across Eastern Ontario that are very supportive. And the other piece is just the information sharing and the programs that really help to educate economic developers like myself in terms of resources that are out there. And whenever there's a quarterly meeting or at our annual conference, there's so much great learning to be had, and it's just a real effective organization, and we're proud to be members of it.
Thank you, Chris. And that was all voluntary information that was not prompted at all. And thank you for joining us here on Ontario's Matters, sharing your story. We wish you all the best going forward, working regionally, working with your partners, and thank you for the work you do to help make the Bay of Quinte a better place to live.
Thank you, Jay.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Ontario Matters.